why she's important. Like, what's her uses again? Okay. And this way I'll just have you from a different angle and
yeah.
cut it out.
Okay. Sometimes it's difficult to like process the question because, you know, she has so many foundational answers for how she's going to be important in the long run, as far as how she can be utilized as the foundation for what we're doing with radiation therapy research and personalizing it to individual patients that may be first-time cancer survivors, or it'll be their 5th time going through cancer treatments, which is a reality that some people face and more people will be facing as we get longer lives. But specifically, the Phantom Marie, as we lovingly call her, she is going to be very useful for setting the foundation for complex geometry on a full scale, for being a one-to-one radiation therapy instrument as a clinical patient with full geometry that has been picked up with imaging, and then we've been able to capture that on an actual real scale and be able to fit a tube down her for doing these dosimetric procedures that are done in hospitals currently in the hospital setting with radiation therapy work that is not only being done now, but that can be modified for individual patients based off of their actual body shape.
Okay. Now, will she be used for individual patients for practice, or is she like the prototype and each new patient you'll have to create a new her?
So most patients aren't going to need a full body one-to-one situation, full body one. Most patients aren't going to need a full body one-to-one print of them for the type of work that will be done on them. Complex situations, such as people that have had radical mastectomies, or maybe they've lost their limb in war, or they've had some kind of shrapnel get embedded that we're going to need to go around. Being able to create something that is scaled proportionally to them specifically, in addition to being able to practice doing testing around the geometry of something that's embedded. That's really where these kinds of things would be going. It wouldn't be for every patient. That wouldn't be necessarily useful for a lot of patients, because if you have cancer in your upper chest, a leg situation isn't going to help you. But if you've got multiple venues of radiation therapy that you need, being able to have an entire system that you can practice on and observe different dose measurements and how that's going to affect your patient, and being able to add up all those different areas, things like this would come in very helpful.
She's basically hollow. Mm-hmm. You're putting water in her. What else do you have to do to mimic the insides of a person?
Well, for this phantom specifically, because she is a water phantom, we're not going to be necessarily worrying about those kinds of things as far as like implanting organs or putting a skeleton in. Future iterations, what we'd like to do is create a higher density filament that is able to be viewed in some kind of x-ray setting, and then being able from there, once we have the skeleton printed in, maybe implant some kind of organoid that is, ideally if we could create the cancer environment itself, the microenvironment, with implantable tumors that have been grown in other labs, or being able to implant a scan of that tumor and then cover it in TLDs, which are thermoluminescent dosimeters. It's another mechanism for analyzing the surfaces of something. And granted, if we do things like that, we'd have to change the system. It wouldn't be able to be a water phantom. It would have to be another type of model that would be established for that kind of research. And so there's just opportunities that this sets the foundation for. If we can get the testing to go well, we would be able to further see how 3D printing can be utilized for a full system, a full one-to-one human, personalized.
Okay. Explain what phantom is.
Okay, so a phantom is a tissue surrogate effectively used in research that allows us to set parameters and create a radiation therapy setup specific to that individual. So phantom is just a tissue surrogate, in short.
Okay, cool.